Welcome to Cinemondo with Kathy and Melanie from Per Daisy Review. We are here to talk about Pushpa 2. Now, Melanie did a spoiler-free review on her channel because she went first day. I went the weekend, so I had to wait a couple days. But I had to bring Melanie in to talk about Pushpa 2. We're going to have a little bit of spoiler discussion, not too heavy, but I definitely want to be able to freedom to talk about some plot points that are in this that are, kind of major. So yeah, let's get into it. Pushpa 2. Here we go. So
your overall reaction, did you enjoy it? Was it worth seeing in the theater?
It was definitely worth
it. This was her birthday, folks. She got to go on her birthday.
Pushpa 2 was my birthday present to myself. One thought.
Fafa and Allu all wrapped up in a bow.
I can't say no to that. I know. And I think, honestly, I think that might have been my first Fafa movie on the big screen, technically.
Really? Did you saw the original Pushpa you saw on streaming?
Yeah, I saw on Netflix. So kind of big screen, but not the big screen. So yeah, that was exciting just to see him on the big screen. And he made it worthwhile. Oh my God, this guy.
Oh my God, right?
Every scene he was in. I mean, it's hard to steal it from Allu Arjun, but he kind of did. You get to be crazy a little bit. It always steals the show. I mean, Allu Arjun's kind of the simmering kind of threat, the kind of low key, but Fafa was he was nuts.
Yeah, I mean, Allu Arjun was definitely enjoying playing this completely over the top character, right? But when you bring Fahadh Faasil, I was trying to explain to my audience that may only be familiar, not familiar with Fahadh Faasil and the range of his work from Hindi cinema. This is not the first Telugu film. I don't think maybe it is. Maybe Pushpa was the first Telugu, and so he only appears kind of at the end of the first film, and we get a little bit of him, and Pushpa humiliates him and makes him strip, and he goes crazy and whatever. So I was trying to explain to my audience, like Fahadh Faasil is one of the best Indian actors, like, ever, right? that is in the industry today. And so he can play everything from like a nebbishy sad sack to a psychotic, I don't even know what the hell he's going to do next, which is basically what this role was, where like he's so unhinged, you literally don't know what he's going to do from one scene to the next, and neither do the people around him. So, but he has such a range in his acting. But when you're giving him license, okay, now you're going to be in a Telugu movie where you can be over the top, and he just is like,
it's a full advantage.
I'm just gonna let loose here a little bit. Yeah. Woo!
I'm the villain. I'll be the villain. Watch me. I know. He was so good.
Oh my God. Like, he's so unhinged, psychotic.
I love his villain take because he was that insecure small man.
Oh yeah.
So he's always wrong. Every decision he's making in this movie is wrong. So he keeps having to prove himself. Like, everybody believes him when he goes, "This is it, we're doing it." And he always ends up humiliating himself. So he gets more and more angry. Yeah. I love that. I love that he's he's already kind of acting out to intimidate everyone and make them think he's a badass, but mostly he's just a small, terrible person who is not that good at what he does. And so Allu Arjun's character, Pushpa, is always outsmarting him every step of the way. So he's having to like come at this like, I'm gonna get him this time, and he just never can quite get there. And it's perfectly encapsulated when they cross the border with in the ocean, and he's like, I'm gonna get him. It's like, put the gun down. You're all gonna get shot. Okay, we're good. Never mind. I love that. It was a perfect example of like, I'm the bit. Oh, never mind. Sorry. It was so good.
You're right. He's always kind of like, because in so many other movies, his role, the IPS officer, has so much power. Yeah. But here, Pushpa has all the power in the town. And so it's constantly, he thinks he has Pushpa under his thumb in the first, until we have that amazing scene where Pushpa makes him strip and humiliates him. And it's like, so we have the ghost of that and the humiliation of that overarching everything that Fafa does in this, like the amazing apology scene. And he's like, I won. No,
you didn't. As usual, did not win and got peed on at the same time, which was
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's funny.
I remember the actor name who played Fahadh Faasil's kind of right hand
advisor. Yeah. Who was that?
Like he just his fellow officer just constantly has this look like, oh shit, here we go.
Like, oh my god, this guy never gets it right. I know. So when it starts, we're from Pushpa 1 to Pushpa 2, we have, they call it the rise because now Pushpa is on top. So he's kind of got he's the gangland, master, and he's basically, everyone loves him because he's kind of, employing everyone. And I love how he employs all the cops. That was hilarious. Instead of he's like, I'll pay you more and I'll give you benefits. Yeah, okay, we're in. All right. So the cops have no one left but Wafa. So I love that idea. So they're kind of on his side because they feel like he's more on their side too. The cops are corrupt and they're not helping the people there. So I love that idea. So you have the Robin Hood kind of is what this is basically.
Yeah.
So I love that. So you're trying to think, how can they possibly take down this guy who is glamorous, gorgeous, flashy, rich? The only person that can take him down is his wife. And that stuff was amazing. I love them. And every time
that is the best part of the movie for me.
I love when she's like, he comes to her, somebody comes over to her, he goes, you're touching me. I'm getting those feelings. I'm feeling those feelings. He's like, oh no, because he knows when she gets those feelings, it's all over. He's going to have to do
all over. But I'm having a meeting in the other room.
No, you're in the kitchen with me and we're going to tear this kitchen apart.
Oh my God, their relationship, because the first film was the humor in the movie was how he was this amazing outlaw and whatever, badass. But when it came to her, he was the shy boy that his friend had to fix them together, and like it was amazing, right? Like he was just gawky and awkward and innocent. It was lovely. But we're like, okay, they're together. And how many other movies, Katsy, when there's just a wife and the girlfriend and she's just sort of there, and once we've established the relationship, it's done. Like we don't see it. No. Oh no. Rashmika was still central to this movie. Something that she wanted became the driving force behind most of the plot of the movie, because he is going to get her anything that she wants.
He does not say no.
It was still incredibly sexy. Whereas the first film, we had this innocent, cute, whatever. This, now they're married. It's okay. Oh my God, that Peeling song, incredibly sexy. Like I have seen so many songs where the guy is, grabbing the girl's waist and her shoulder and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And grabbing
they
her
do that little
guy.
None of that. It was like,
oh no, Rashmika is grabbing his thigh.
Yes.
It was so incredibly sexy how this song turned it all around. Peelings, I think, is the name, because it's like she's mispronouncing feelings. So, that was my favorite. Like, there's so many great songs and dance sequences in this film, but their relationship. Oh my God!
Every time they were together,
every minute.
She can hold her own, because I loved her in Animal too. Like she was very formidable in Animal. Like they were not getting along, and she was like, who are you? You're toxic, terrible. And then now she is another powerful man. She's still holding her own. So she's one of those two actresses that gets these roles, and I love her. And she's not like a badass looking woman. She's just she's just strong. She's still this beautiful doe-eyed. But still, I mean, that was great. So she was great in that, and it brought a whole new context to him, his motivations, the fact he's not just this emotionless sociopath. Like he was actually very emotional. Like that pretty much was the whole point of this movie, is how emotional he was.
So I absolutely loved, besides all of these action sequences and the smuggling and the conflict with Fafa and his police officers trying to catch them in the middle of the smuggling. What I loved is that they continued. The only thing that got to him is she's the only one that stands up for him. Okay. And to his family, because he is the illegitimate brother. And so if his mother is slighted, forget about it. And in the first film, the brother was his elder half brother was horrible to him.
Yeah.
And that continues throughout the second movie. But then there's a plot with his niece. So his niece doesn't follow what her father said. She wants to call Pushpa uncle. And it doesn't seem like just because he's the rich uncle, like it seems like she honestly wants to have a relationship. Yeah. And when she's in peril, It's over. It's over.
That was the big scene, really.
So, where I in my review, I compared it to, so many Hollywood action movies are just action for action's sake, and there's no heart. In this, while we had plenty of just fun action sequences, I felt like some of the big climactic. It's like, how are you going to one up that action scene in the first film in the forest where he's got a bag over his head and his hands are tied? Okay, well, now his feet are tied too. And blah, blah. Like, I mean, like we're going to one up it. It had this incredible action sequence, but it's all due to reconciling with his family. That's right. And so there was a lot of heart, and I actually did really like that. Although let's talk about it, Kathy. This film is 3 hours and 20 minutes. Like, what? Have some pity on us.
This film needed an editor. I have to say, I did feel like some scenes went on way too long. I felt like there was some repetition. We'll call out some small things. I feel like the opening scene was completely worthless. It was fun to watch. Did not need it at all, plot wise.
Same. Okay, same. Because spoiler here. Yeah. It was all a dream. Okay, like we're having a fight in Japan with samurai swords, and it's all a dream. And it was just because, hey, let's do something cool.
Yeah.
It just didn't have anything to do with anything. No. I had one of my viewers say, it's from the future. It's what's going to happen. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I would love it if we ended up in Japan with Pushpa, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think that's true. I just think it was completely gratuitous. Let's have something cool. But again, it was like 10 or 15 minutes of I will acknowledge it was a cool action.
Yeah, it was fun. But you have 3.5 hours
to do with anything. And we're already even if you take that out, we're already over 3 hours.
Yeah.
I think you might agree with me. I wouldn't cut necessarily any of the song numbers because I really enjoyed all of those, but I do agree that some of the action scenes got a little repetitive. Like, okay, we've seen him kick it. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, we're going to see it again. Okay.
Yeah, I think there were a few of the themes and a few of these scenes were kind of just reinforcing themselves over and over again. And I feel like, again, like it's really hard for editors and directors to get rid of scenes that are like their babies, that there's something that they love. But that's why you need a really good editor who can just go, we got to slice and dice. We got to cut stuff out. I know you don't, and then have a director's cut later. It was on streaming.
Right.
But that was the only stumbling block. And I think that, it didn't hurt in India. I feel like that's probably a deterrent here in America because 3.5 hours is just not what we do. It just does. And also you don't get to have showings. They don't show them all night.
I did have an intermission, thank God. But not every theater in America would show it with intermission. It's a super long time to sit in a movie without an intermission. So it was like too much of a good thing. I mean, it was too much of a good thing. So, I mean, at the end, we found there's a cliffhanger. We find out there is going to be Pushpa 3. Yeah. Like when you introduce, the guy that played the politician, like the head honcho politician, that actor's name is Jagapathi Babu. He is known for playing often stern fathers, but also villains, like because he has the gravitas to be up against. He can be up against the biggest stars. Mahesh Babu, whatever. Like he's like, you need the big bad, bring in Jagapathi Babu. And when I saw him and I saw how kind of little he had, I'm like, And then we have the cliffhanger at the end. I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna be back.
All right, speaking of be back. Okay, so we have a big scene where Fahadh Faasil's character has been humiliated over and over again, outsmarted by Allu Arjun, Pushpa, over and over again. They have the big scene where he got all the wood in the warehouse. He's kind of going a little nuts about it. And he's like,
a little nuts,
having a meltdown, basically. So he lights everything on fire. And so he's in this. It's a great scene, like this, just epic. Yeah. All this wood in this massive warehouse, and he's down this one hallway, and he's kind of doing his thing, and he's playing the recorder, which I love. He keeps playing the recording over and over again of Pushpa just saying sorry, just over and over. Sorry. That's all he said. It wasn't even like, I'm so sorry I did this. He was just sorry over and over. I love he's obsessed with that. But they have a big scene where he's in there and he won't leave. He's in that hallway and the whole thing blows up. I will say, if you don't see a body, that person's not dead. So we don't know what happened in between showing us the hallway to when it blew up. So I'm sure he survived, because if he's not in
No, that was him. I'm pretty sure that was him in
Do you think
Profile
that was him from the back?
at the end. Yeah, because I think he's the one that set the bomb at the wedding.
Oh yeah,
he loves things that blow up. He loves fire and things that blow up.
I mean, they mostly showed him from the back, right? I mean, I at that point I was very tired. It had been 3.5 hours. So I was like,
I'm pretty sure, because I also felt like the explosion of the shed, whatever, with all the wood was a little for some reason was a little anticlimactic. Yeah. And I also was sitting here thinking, really? That's the end of Fahadh? After all that? This is how he goes? And I'm like, And then I'm pretty sure that was who we saw at the end. That not only is Jagapathi Babu going to be back for Pushpa 3, but Fahadh will be back. But now he's maybe like even more unhinged, because maybe he's lost his job, blah, blah, blah. Like he's
maybe now he's on his own.
We thought he was unhinged before, Kathy, but we ain't seen nothing yet.
He'll probably have a half-burned face or something. I can see him being scarred. Or
that's what
some
I'm
kind of.
I'm from the back. We didn't see what happened to his face. Like it's probably gonna
be. Now I'm excited. Okay, because I was kind of like, I think he's dead, but I don't know. Maybe. No. Okay, I did love that.
That's not the way that Fahadh goes.
That's not how you go.
It was just so kind of like.
Yeah, even though if you're gonna go a big, huge explosion, it's a pretty cool way. But I got to see the body. I got to see the reaction. It just seemed too distant.
We did not see that body, and no. So I'm thinking, I just this was a really enjoyable film. Like I said, it just was a little bit too much and too long.
Too much.
And there was so many things that I loved about it. The dance sequences. Okay, you can have Allu Arjun in the film. Man, the guy can freaking dance. Like he's one of the best dancers, not only of Telugu cinema, but of Indian cinema. And he did not disappoint. The one number that had been in the teasers, I did not catch that he was in a sari.
He just looked so good in it that I figured it was.
I mean, there was some sort of festival. Like, viewers, please explain this to us, because it seemed to be kind of a thing that the men were cross-dressing to truly show devotion to the goddess, or I don't know. I mean, it was something that I had never seen before. I've seen 800 Indian films, and I've never seen anything like that. Okay, I've seen Vijay Sethupathi play a trans woman, but I've not seen this. Okay, so but it was. I mean, we got the tiniest little snippet in the teaser. And then when we saw the lyrical video, do you remember, Kathy, we watched it, and they showed them kind of doing that swing number, but they were in regular street clothes rehearsing it. So we didn't get the full impact until we saw they're both in saris doing that. I'm like,
they did a drag show, basically. That's what it was. The only clue I got, I was confused about too. It says that it's a festival where male supplicants to the goddess Durga must dress as women, asking the goddess for a daughter because his wife was pregnant. So it's kind of like a spectacle to get a daughter. So but I love how good Allu Arjun looked in his drag. He looked freaking amazing. And then, but everyone else looked super bad in it, which I thought was hilarious. Bad wigs, terrible makeup. So he's like fighting, which was hilarious. I mean, the whole thing was just. It was also very long. It was a very long scene. It wasn't just a song. It was like an entire. I think that thing was like a half an hour long, whatever it was. But they had a big fight in the middle of it. Of men dressed like women.
Yeah,
it was just so funny. But yeah, so that was great, and I did love who played the villain. The villain.
I don't know, but he was something, wasn't he? Like he made an impact in a film that had such huge stars. Yes. He really did make an impact.
He did.
And it's like we had villains on top of villains on top of villains in this movie, right?
Yeah, there were a lot.
There were a lot, and it was like they had to set up the whole. For the family reconciliation, they had to set up this whole plot. And of course, he was a politician's son who always would get away with everything. I'm like, we've seen that trope 3 million times. But the guy played it to the hilt. And oh my God, was he evil? Like, whoa.
And I love the suit and the dog when he appeared. He looks like this total rich kid who's just like, I'm here. First of all, I love the whole gag with the helicopter was hilarious. He's like, I'm coming down in my helicopter and I have my bright blue suit. And he just looked like such a rich guy douchebag. And he's carrying his dog and it's very cute. And I love her. It's like, yeah, I'll take your helicopter. They do a trade. And then he realizes there is not a limo waiting for him. He doesn't have any way out of there. It's just hilarious. He goes, here's your limo. It's this terrible looking truck that you have to ride in. He's like, what? So he's been humiliated, as everyone is who tries to outsmart Pushpa. Pushpa.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
So I really, like I said, I did like the family reconciliation plot at the end. I felt like it gave me an emotional closure to otherwise what was just a action fest.
It was already stressful enough. We didn't need that.
But I mean, it gave us so then, they've set up this cliffhanger because everything seems like it's fine. And then what is going to happen? If he loses that baby, I'm going to lose again. Like, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to come for him.
They worked really hard to get that baby.
Whoever better watch out.
I did love how they
deserves that little baby dog.
Let him have something nice. Just once. Besides that great belt he wears all the time, which was awesome. But I love how they have the flowers coming in and they show the little snake-like thing in it, the little cool-looking bomb thing. Oh, it was so cool looking. And I didn't even register exactly what I thought that was. I just saw them bringing in. I'm like,
yeah, I didn't either.
Is it a bad guy who's bringing? I didn't quite get it. And then when they're pulling back and you see the guy on the hill and you see the detonator and you're like, oh shit. And you almost realize it probably at the same time everyone else did.
Yeah.
How do people survive explosions in these movies? We have Fafa surviving the big warehouse. Apparently, Pushpa is going to survive this because, he will. Yeah. There's part 3. So unless everyone else gets killed and he's on a revenge rampage.
Rampage. So who gets killed that he then has to avenge? Like,
I hope it's not her.
Better not be that baby, but if it's the niece,
better not be that baby. So yes, we got a lot. There was a lot. It was very long, but we got a lot of family. We got a lot of emotion. We got payoffs with great songs. We got a drag show. We got incredible action sequence where he's doing all the action tied with hands and feet and then biting off body parts.
And it was just it was like Mike Tyson or something. I'm going right for the ear.
It's like flying through the air. And I like where he's chopping off limbs and it's all very clean and tidy, but he kind of takes the severed arm and kind of does the Pushpa thing with the severed arm, which is so good. So see, but he has a sense of humor. Pushpa's not a monster.
Okay, I would say another scene that was kind of gratuitous was the item number. I don't even know who that.
Yeah, who was that? And what was the point of that?
There was no point other than to have an item number. But then you have the pregnant wife kind of
she's like, this is all fine. I'll join in.
Super weird. Super weird, awkward. Again, gratuitous. We had so many other great dance numbers. We didn't necessarily need that one. I guess they needed it for the soundtrack, whatever. But
I know that there was a lot of heat given to this song, a lot of grief because apparently it was so vulgar and the lyrics were vulgar.
The original Telugu is, but the way that they did it in the English subtitles, it
wasn't that bad. It was all about
issue.
It's social media, basically. It's take my picture, keep my picture.
There must be double entendre in all of the Telugu. That must be it.
Yeah,
because it didn't come through. If it was my friend Rakes who had subtitles,
he would have made it clear.
Then I'm sure I would have gotten the full impact of whatever double entendre was there in the Telugu.
But I didn't hate it because I welcome any opportunity to see Allu Arjun dance, so I was fine with it. I didn't care. It was a fun dance number. Live, it woke me up a little bit. It was a very long movie. And so that was fun. And the woman was beautiful, whoever she was. I liked her too because she was a very aggressive dancer. And it was kind of, I'm not used to seeing that where she was very, lots of very abrupt moves. And it was very cool dance. I liked it. I mean, I know it kind of I guess it was considered a little too sexy for some people.
I would have been fine with something like that. It'd been the end credit song or something I don't know. I mean, it was just.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was a little gratuitous, but we're talking about editing. We're saying that could have gone. Opening scene could have gone. So again, a little repetitive here and there, but ultimately, I love the big truck scene through the river. That was a great scene. Too long, but I love that idea.
I mean, that whole thing of how he was scamming them. I loved all of that, and especially that it came down to he hid it in a traditional kind of way that then was totally not expected. So that was all great.
A lot of smart gags to humiliate.
I mean, I guess I was thinking through the whole movie, like, we're completely glorifying somebody who is smuggling, like stealing resources from the forest and pulling it over the cops constantly. I mean, I guess, like you said, it's kind of a Robin Hood thing because you feel like he is truly taking care of the villagers and is a good employer. But on the other hand, I'm like, okay, this is, I mean, it's like we're glorifying Tony Soprano or whatever, right? Like,
exactly. He's an anti-hero. But the same thing is like if you were taking care of your people, that this guy would not rise to power because we wouldn't need him, so the people wouldn't be supporting him. So everybody loves their anti-hero mobsters. It's just a thing. We know they kill people. We know they're against the law.
Okay, but again, if it's Allu Arjun, we're like, he's so cute. Okay.
Yeah, I know. That's what's happening with the subway shooter that we had. Or not subway shooter, the insurance salesman killing that we just had. The shooter is considered cute, so everyone's kind of like, not so bad. You guys. But we do love our villains, especially if they're Allu Arjun and Fafa, which I consider Fafa kind of a villain also because was, the villain of the villain is a villain. So, and I did love the underwater scene. He got to do a great underwater scene where he was getting caught up in the net. That has to be hard to do. So he does everything. That guy does everything. I swear to God.
Didn't you get the feeling that, I mean, Fahadh Faasil does some extremely serious, deep, dramatic, dark melodramatic Malayalam films, and then here I just felt like he was having the biggest ball, the most fun. Oh yeah, I just kind of had this energy from him that he was having a lot of fun.
I know. I'm like, just turn up the volume, and I feel like the director's like, yeah, go for it, and he's like, yay, I get to just go for it and just act out and be terrible the whole time. When he was doing that dance with the turban on. So very cool. Very cool. So very fun movie. Enjoy it. We didn't spoil a lot. There's still stuff to be seen in that movie that you have not heard about. And thank you, Melanie, for joining me for this more in-depth, but yours was also great. You should watch Melanie's first as a kind of a taster.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, mine is by here you've been already spoiled. But if your friend of yours has not seen the film yet, it's safe to watch my spoiler-free review. I don't give any of the plot points away. But just you can see the excitement as I reviewed it right after seeing it the first day.
Always good to see that energy, that like fresh out of the theater feel. I love that.
But I mean, this is definitely what I said then is what I would say here. It's definitely one that's worth seeing in the theater because there's some scenes that are really, especially the dance sequences are exceptional on the big screen. And there's a lot of big action scenes that are just going to be more enjoyable. If you can see it with the crowd, I think you'll enjoy it a lot more than waiting for this one for streaming.
That's right. And just seeing that the makeup, the bright neon color, dressed as women scene. And even though that went on really long, I could not get enough of it. I did not want it to end. It was so good. That is worth seeing alone in the theater. That alone. Just great.
Yeah.
All right. So let us know your comments. Did you see Pushpa 2? Did you like it? What did you think? Do you think Fafa's dead? Or was that him at the end? We don't know. No. We're not sure totally. But I think you're right.
I mean, the way the director loved him,
right.
I think he's going to be back.
You can't kill off the best foil you have in the film. It just would not make sense.
Okay. He's got a lot of stuff that he's got to get revenge for. Come on.
There's a lot we need to see more of Fafa. That's all I'm saying. And he gets even more unhinged is what we're looking for.
Oh yeah.
Okay. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.